All right, let's see if we got some folk in the live, man. Let's see what's popping with these folks today. All right, we got 4 views in automatically, man. We'd love to see it, man. We'll go ahead and get it started. Actually, we're gonna wait till 10-9 to mess with y'all. All right. So today is Thursday. You know what I'm saying? We know we're talking basketball on a Thursday night. You know what I'm saying? We got a lot of good topics y'all today. You know what I'm saying? We're talking Caleb Wilson. He's committing tomorrow, I believe. No, he's committing tonight, excuse me. You know what I'm saying? It's between, I believe, Kentucky, UNC. Those are the big two right there. Auburn, near victory over Georgia. Also talking about the Nike Elite High School Basketball Classic that's going down this Saturday at Wheeler High School. So it's a jam-packed show, man. So we want to bring on the man of the hour, you know what I'm saying, my co-host, Najee Wilkins.
What's going on, man?
What's going on? How you feeling?
Feeling all right, brother. Good to be here again on Thursday night, man. Talk some hoops with you, man. How's everything? How you live?
Hey, man, I'm good. I feel like my glasses get crooked and crooked every day I get on here with the headphones, but we're going to keep it rocking. But I also wanted to point out Prep Sports Nation will be joining us here in a few minutes to help us out, you know what I'm saying, getting the basketball cheer, you know what I'm saying, before as we get rolling. So be on the lookout for that, you know what I'm saying. So before we get into the topics, man, did anything catch your eye, you know what I'm saying, over the weekend up to this point in the week about just basketball topics?
Good question, man. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I mean, we obviously will talk about it a little bit. Obviously, the Hoop Hall Classic, was very intriguing to see. Several teams matching up. I think that's very intriguing to see them kind of go at it. Top teams here from Georgia going up and playing in New York against top-end competition. I also say seeing Grayson obviously go against Holly Innocence this Saturday as well. I don't know if you heard about that matchup, but top number one matchup between two elite opponents going neck and neck. I think that's interesting. That'll be Grayson, a doubleheader. Rarely do you see those this late in the season. You just see region play, but I like how these coaches, the Coach Pierces of the world, Coach Thompson, Coach Whitehart, like they schedule these tough games, even though we in January, we really should be thinking about region play. They still schedule these tough games, test out the team, see where they are, good barometer tests and things like that. So that's one that stands out. And we'll see how Grayson looks. You could say Grayson has a better overall team, but you could also in the same breath say that Holly Innocence has the best player, including Caleb Hope, even though he's a dog. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's an intriguing matchup between two powers here in the state.
I agree, brother. It's nice to see it, man. We're talking about Georgia Elite Classic coming up, Nike Elite Classic coming up. So there's been some discussion previously. Do you think that now we've seen a lot? I'm not going to say even just a lot more Georgia hoops come out, but a lot more as being more successful in the NBA. I don't know if I'm saying something wrong there, but you know what I'm saying, how do you feel about the Georgia basketball talent? You know what I'm saying, how does it stack up against everywhere else?
It's intriguing. I was having this talk the other night with Ra, and he was talking about, like, he's putting me on game with, like, the DMV area. When you look at Maryland, when you look at Virginia, when you look at D.C., and then he's telling me about, like, California. And, I was asking him about all those, and then NC and SC. And he was like, like, he's a little disappointed with the talent that had came to the Huntsville class. But I told him, I was like, those are decent teams, but those ain't the top echelon. Like, top echelon this year would be, like, obviously the Wheelers of the world. You know what I'm saying? They're top echelon. We look at McEachern, we look at the Norcross, they're always top tier. We look at, obviously, Holly Innocence. We look at Grayson. But he brought up some really good points. Just the Meccas, New York, New Jersey. He mentioned that one, too, the New York tri-state area as being top end for some hoops, too. So I agree with him to a certain degree. I just think it's getting that talent on the stage because we're seeing it tonight with Caleb Wilson obviously going national and go on a bigger platform to announce his decision, right? I was thinking about it today, like, how many times have we seen a player in Georgia go national like that and own a platform? I was like, last I can think of recently is obviously Nebonsta, but he's all the way out of Utah. So we don't always get to see that. So I think it's just we got great talent here in the state of Georgia, and Coach Thompson talked about it the best, but it's just putting it on that platform and that exposure to be able to see it. You know what I'm saying? Getting great media outlets to put it out there because there is some great talent here, and getting the best talent in Georgia to go against some of the best talent in the country.
Well said, brother. Well said. And with that, so we're just gonna go forward and pull up the list and kind of hop into this game. There you go. How you doing?
Hiatus. He back finally.
Yeah, man. They got ousted tonight. They got ousted tonight. So hey, we on to the next now.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he's gonna jump in. Now it's track and field. So he's going right from one straight to the other.
Athlete. I love to hear it.
Yeah,
Sure.
man. Yeah, I was shocked they had They had a 4:30 game today, so that's why when you text Najee, I was like, yeah, I can definitely, So glad I'm back.
Yeah, glad you're back, man. It's been a couple weeks we had you on, man. So
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. It's been, it's been like I said, man. It's a beautiful thing when you got a kid that's, a kid, your own child that's doing their thing and whatnot. And, in addition to him, we got other kids that are busy as well. I coach my 8-year-olds team. So, last few weeks, just being busy, especially with with the storms, schedules being shifted around, things of that nature. It just kind of got a little out of whack a little bit. But like I said, unfortunately for them, it was a good game tonight, but unfortunately, man, they came up short. So they got eliminated tonight. So
gotcha. 100%. Go ahead, Bacon.
yeah, how y'all boys been, man? Y'all been good?
Hey, we trying to stay as warm as we can, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, stay busy for me, man.
Yeah.
100%.
Good deal, man. So I heard y'all talking a little bit about high school hoops. I kind of caught I wasn't sure where where you started, but I heard you talking about just coverage in Georgia and everything. So I'm not sure where you were, but I will say this, man. I've been pushing that Georgia is probably. I know. Look, I'm from Connecticut originally. All right, so New York, tri-state area, yeah, 100% probably own basketball. I don't think that's the case no more. I think you're seeing talent just all over this country, number one. But I make a strong case for Georgia to be right there in the conversation for producing some of the top talent in the country when it comes to high school sports. I mean, McDonald's All-American nominees came out yesterday, 18 on the girls' side, 21 on the boys' side. You know what I'm saying? So from Georgia. So look at the NBA draft. How many guys have, at least the last 20 years have been first-round picks, high first-round picks, number one picks. So it's an interesting conversation. But I really think it's a shift now. I don't know that one area necessarily owns it, but I will say Georgia definitely has a case to be in the conversation, in my opinion.
100%, brother. You know what I'm saying? That's why we give you the floor. You know what I'm saying? You get to give us that. You know what I'm saying? From a tree down. You know what I'm saying? Educators, young brothers are like, yeah, basketball is here. You know, so I've seen the transfer here, but there's still a lot of talent in the Tri-Cities areas. But we're talking about Georgia Elite, Nike Elite High School showcase this Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday, Wheeler High School. That's a good one, man. You got some really good teams in that. This time of year is always, that late November to now window is always a great time for basketball in Georgia because you get so many of the different showcases and things of that nature that are taking place right here in Georgia. It's a great opportunity to see some talent from all around the state and in some instances from all around the country because teams travel here for some of these things. And so, yeah, that's an exciting one. I'm actually not going to go to that one just because one, a lot of top teams, that thing's going to get a lot of national coverage on its own anyway, just because of the teams that are in there. And, I usually like to take opportunities like this to go see programs that, everybody may not necessarily be paying attention to them, but they're doing, they're making a little bit of noise. So I'll actually, I know that's actually all day Saturday, but I'm actually going to go show some love to the swimmers because y'all know I cover everything. So Westminster's hosting a Metro meet this weekend. So I'll check that out early and Saturday morning. And then I'm going to go see the Douglas Astros boys basketball team. They're having a pretty good year. So I'm going to go check them out. And they're playing like at 3 p.m. I may go to the Grayson and Holy Innocents game. Now I may go to that. I may go to that just for once, actually just sit there and watch. Although it's always hard. Y'all both know it's hard to say you're going to go watch a game and then not pull your phone out and still end up finding something to do to post, right?
You love what you do.
So.
Yes, sir. Facts. Go ahead, Bacon.
Now you can share the screen when you get a chance.
Yes, my bad.
No, you good. You good. All right. Let me zoom in a little bit, see if I can make this wider. That's the Apple pinch right there. That's why we love Apple products. But so number one, Wheeler girls versus Pepperbrook girls. Just looked that game of not too long ago, I believe. Wheeler comes in with a better record. Pepperbrook, I believe they have 5 wins on this season. I didn't see any stats anywhere, but there's one thing I know about the Mableton area, they got a lot of dogs, they're going to play scrappy, so it's going to be interesting because Wheeler has two guards, one of them's a freshman, I believe she's Colvin Landrew's sister, she's been doing her thing. But now, do you have anything to add on to this, brother, about what you see?
It's not a lot at the top with those matchups. Both are having kind of like rough seasons, but I think with young occurring talent that they both have, they're trying to figure things out, getting good lineups in there. You mentioned Landrew's sister. She's only a freshman, right? So she's getting that experience early on, second leading scorer for the team this year. So I think it's just a process for them. And I think they continue to figure it out. Obviously, kind of having down seasons, but going to be teams to watch here in the future.
Yeah, and I would just kind of piggyback that. I mean, those are two programs that Pebblebrook probably more recently than Wheeler has had some success within maybe like the last 5 years. But Wheeler has kind of been one of those programs that they've been kind of trying to find their way. So to both of your points, they're both very young, coached very well, but it's just a matter of coming down to it. And look, what their record says now means absolutely nothing once that region tournament starts. And, you never know. They can go on a nice little run in the region tournament, maybe end up with a 1 or 2 seed heading into the state championship tournament and, see where the chips may fall from there. So you guys are both spot on with that about, again, just it's growing pains for both programs right now.
100%. Norcross versus Green Forest. Now I'm gonna start with you, Preps. What do you feel? What do you think this matchup is gonna go? You like Green Forest, you like Norcross, two decent, respectable teams.
Yeah, I mean Norcross, man, they're having a pretty strong season this year. What is this, year 3? And forgive me for I can't remember coach's name. I think this might be year 3 or 4 that she's been leading the program, and I think that Norcross identity, boys and girls basketball, they've produced so much top talent over the years. So I think it was just a matter of, could she come in and kind of keep that mantle name going? And I feel like she's done a great job. Green Forest, I honestly haven't had a chance to see them too much this year, but again, another program that, boys and girls have, had some solid talent over there, especially on the boys side. We all know that, but they're having a decent season as well. So I think, that's going to be a matchup where, again, the beauty of it is it's a non-region matchup. So it won't matter in that facet, but it gives you a chance to, as I mentioned earlier, just kind of go see some top talent from different parts of the metro area, because you got Gwinnett representing that one as well as DeKalb County. So that should be, I think that should be a pretty entertaining matchup.
I definitely just want to start out Malika Lazarevich. She's averaging 19 points. That's good numbers for sure. Amita Nadea shooting 60% from the field goal. So I'm saying this is definitely a team who loves to score. Two girls with 3.9 rebounds. So, so this is definitely one of the people are going to love to see. Anytime you get to see 2 elite teams go at it, get your popcorn out. But we're going to transition into the 3:30 game, first boys game of the afternoon. Norcross versus McEachern. I know now I just see McEachern. I've done some homework on Norcross in the past. So I think this is a toss-up. But again, I'm coming to you down there, Preps. Who do you like in the 3:30 matchup?
That's a tough one, man. I've saw McEachern twice so far this season. Saw them early on. Can't remember who that first loss was to, or not first loss, but it was a loss early over at Hillgrove. They were in the Cobb County Classic that Hillgrove hosts, and then saw them again this past weekend over at Pace Academy. And they're having a fantastic season, man, and they've got guys. And I talked to Coach. That's one of the things that Coach Antrim talked about afterwards, man. It's like, for them, it's life after Ace Bailey, right? If we're 100%, everybody probably kind of wondered, and not just Ace. They had they had 2-3 other guys on the team last year that were phenomenal players, and they've all moved on. So it was kind of like a life after type situation. How would they respond to things? And they've done well at. See, I don't know if they've played because obviously the storm came, so I'm not sure if they played since Saturday. But if not, they're sitting at should be 15-3, 3 losses. 2 of them were relatively early. Again, I saw one of them earlier in the year. But this team, man, young. I can't think of the Chase. What is his Chase? What's his last name? Can't think of him. Najee, you probably have seen him because I know you've seen him. So I know you probably know his last name, but. Man, kid's only a sophomore, man, and just has a motor on him, man, has a knack for getting to the rim, can knock down the 3. And again, it's just a scrappy team that you just don't know who's going to be the top performer night after night. And that's one of those matchups. It's hard to coach. Teams it's hard to coach against sometimes. But then you are talking about on the other side, Coach Jesse McMillan, who, has been leading that Norcross program for a long time. A lot of studs over there. Obviously, we know. They're loaded. They've always been loaded. They got some young guys. Josh Smith Jr. over there. What's my guy's name? I used to play ball with his dad. I can't think of his name right now, but very talented team over there as well. And again, talking about one of the top coaches in the state of Georgia leading that program. So that should be, an exciting matchup, man. I know if you look at Norcross's record, it probably doesn't jump out to you as being amazing, but look, they do play a lot of top teams early in the season, so you can't let those types of seeing that loss column, that can't be it's not necessarily a true depiction of who they are when it comes down to talent.
I agree. Yes, sir. Norcross 13-6. We know about the team, Rudy Anderson, very talented. But Najee, who do you like in this matchup as well?
Yeah, I think it's interesting to go off of what he said. I'm gonna get a slight edge to McEachern. I think they're a little bit more have a little bit more depth. Norcross kind of going through the same thing, growing pains like last year. They have won 3 of their last 4 here recently. But as Preps was talking about, just with Chase Lumpkin, I mean, the kid is a stud, a sharp shooter. Can stretch the floor, doesn't need much room to get a shot off. Christian Curl is a quintessential point guard that can drive to the rim, finish through contact, set up an offense, run the show. They got Bynes on the outside who can also shoot the basketball for them. So they got a lot of different pieces, man, and it's coming together. J.D. Palm's still going through those growing pains too. Hasn't seen the court in a while, so he's still going through some things there. But Coach Ankrum is going to always have that team ready to go. And Norcross, like he said, just a young team. Nasir Anderson's looked good. I got a chance to see him at the Corky Kell. He really impressed me. But how does everything else fit together? Jerron Salisbury, you got in there. I like Miles Clement. He's really good. How does that team continue to form? If they can get hot and get going, Norcross can be dangerous.
Yeah, yes, guys, I agree. I think, like I said, the youth, McEachern, they just have won bigger matchups. You know what I'm saying? Norcross, some tough loss to a top team at Alabama, Hoover. You know what I mean? Also losing to, I just had it in my mind. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, losing to Hoover, lost to Huntsville, Simon Walker, and those cats out there. North Alabama needs more respect. Losing to Meadow Creek, they just, but that's just road to table when you got a young team. So that's all we need to say on that team. We like everybody is in agreement with McEachern. 5 o'clock, girls again, Milton versus McEachern. I'm going to start at the top. You know what I'm saying? The Indians or the Eagles.
Yeah, that's a really interesting one. When you look at, obviously, McEachern, they got a really good basketball team, still figuring things out. But got a chance to see them at the break when they got all they talent about the Chelsea Njokus who won Miss Georgia football. We look at Ava Cousins. They got a lot of people that could play up for that McEachern team, and they continue to figure it out. That's a really good kind of just test for them. Milton is a highly rated team. They're 13-6 this year. They share the basketball, having really good seasons. Landon Walker is a high scorer for them, 17.4 points per game. Caroline Young is another one for them. So you're looking at a really good test to see where McEachern is at this point in the season. The 9-region battle, 2 different classifications, 6A to 5A. I think it's a really good test to see who come out on top. I'll probably get a slight edge to Milton, though.
All right.
Yeah, I think the youth is probably the one thing that obviously McEachern, if like you said, as you look at it, that's probably the one thing that they're dealing with, just trying to figure themselves out. But again, we go back to coaching, and that's a team that's coached by one of the greatest on the girls' side, and Coach Arthur. And she's gonna get the best out of those girls. So it's gonna be a situation where they're gonna bring it to Milton every minute of that game. I just think the experience, Milton probably, I kind of would probably lean like what Najee said, just kind of maybe lean towards Milton, maybe possibly edging them out in that one. Again, McEachern just, they're trying to figure things out, man. And, I think that's something that Coach Arthur is definitely going to, it's going to happen for them. It's just a matter of, again, a lot of youth on that team, and they're just trying to put it all together. Milton, on the other hand, kind of coming in pretty ready to rock and roll. So I probably would lean with Najee on that one and saying that that could go in favor of Milton.
For sure, I agree. McEachern, like, this is the Nike Elite High School, showcase for a reason. McEachern's historically has had some good girls coming through. It's a flagship program of the city, the city, but the state and Milton as well. But moving on to 6:30, and this is when you go back to the concession stand. Get situated, because you got two bangers, to wrap up the night. For sure. Milton boys, Wheeler boys as well, Cole Melandro on the other side, Josh, they just came from Missouri, playing some elite competition. So they're gonna be battle tested for this, Wheeler, we know, plays national season 2. So again, I'm gonna start with you, Naj, at the top. What do you think?
Yeah, so that's an interesting one. I'm really excited to see Milton in person. I have not seen them. They got Daniel Ojiemi, who's a really good big man for them, all-around effort guy. Braxton Giesler is another just kind of glue guy for them. And obviously it's the start and stops with Josh Dixon, who Coach Whitehurst called one of the best scorers in the state, regardless of class. And I'm just kind of excited to see them up close and personal. And then just going up against an elite team, you look at Wheeler, they're very deep, right? They share the basketball. They don't need one guy to fill it up. They don't need it to be Cota Soto, right? It could be Cota Soto one night. It could be Tyler Jordan one night. It could be Kobe Landry one night. They really share the basketball. And as Coach Thompson said, they are 2-man deep at each position. Kevin Savage doesn't even start for them. Like, that tells you a lot about how deep that team is. And they are on, I think, the collision course to end up being in the state championship, humbly. So you got 2 contenders, in my opinion, for state championships this year in the 5A and 6A classification going at battle. I think, Milton, the same thing on the collision course as well in 5A. Maybe some challengers could be Woodward Academy, Tri-Cities, throw in Gainesville in there. It's going to be a really good contest.
Well, who do you like, brother?
It's tough. Like, I want to say Wheeler because I've seen them. I watched like a quarter and a half of them. Milton, I haven't seen, so it's hard to say. But I guess I'll go with Wheeler since I've seen them. I haven't seen Milton, though, so it's hard to say.
Sure. For the record, I agree. I like Wheeler. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm kind of saying both as far as not having a chance to see Milton yet this season. But I have have seen Wheeler. In fact, had Cota Soto Jr. on the show on Prep Sports Station on 92.90 Game probably about 2-3 weeks ago. And that team is just, man, they are like Najee said, man, definitely gonna make a case for for that state title in 6A. Now, here's what I'll say about both of these teams. The one common factor, both of them taking L's this year to the defending state champs. And if I'm not mistaken, for both of them, that's the only in-state. That's the only loss they have as far as taking on Georgia opponents. All their other losses, if I'm not mistaken, for both teams are to national opponents. So that should tell you a lot about what type of matchup you're going to see when these two face off on Saturday.
100%, I agree. I'm tending to lead more towards the Wheeler side. I think it's a little bit more size is going to get them over the top. But the biggest question for me now, that's why I'm really excited about this game, is see how Tyler Jordan has come on. For that team. To me, I think he's the star is going to stir that drink if they want to potentially beat Norcross, potentially, especially beat Grayson. So that's going to be a very interesting one. But for the primetime matchup, Pace Academy, the guys out of South Atlanta will take on the Mableton Falcons out of Pebblebrook. Perhaps, do you think Pebblebrook can upset the Pace Academy Knights?
I think they can, for the simple fact that I don't know the status, but with Eric Chatfield not being on the court. If he's still injured and doesn't play on Saturday, that definitely gives Pebblebrook, in my opinion, probably a good edge. I got a chance to see Pebblebrook earlier in the season when they played Campbell, and they got off to a rocky start. I want to say they were at like maybe 2-3 to get the season started at that point. And we're starting to kind of bring it back together. And Coach George Washington, man, always positive, man, about his team. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of what and just the post-game conversation with him, you knew, like, yeah, after seeing what you saw on court and hearing how they were gonna kind of bring things together. So with Eric not being on the field for Pace, on the court, I'm sorry. I definitely think Pebblebrook could pull off the upset. But again, you're talking about, two great coaches in this game. And a lot of times that's what it comes down to when you have teams that are this talented. It comes down to the coaches. And who can kind of outcoach the other one. And you're talking about two great coaches, and Coach Sharman White for Pace, and again, Coach Washington for Pebblebrook. So, because even though Eric Chatfield's not on the court, Pace still has a lot of talent. They can knock it down from three. Rod, is it Najee? Is it Rod? Is it what's his name? Brian, number 14. Drawing the blank on the last name, but Brian.
Yeah, he could. Yeah,
this kid can stroke that thing, man. You know what I'm saying? So, look, I honestly think this is going to be a chess match between two great coaches because the talent is going to be there on both sides. But again, I do think with Eric Chatfield Jr. not being on the court for Pace, it could lean a little heavier towards Pebblebrook because Chatfield is a difference maker.
Definitely. Are you talking about Chandler Bing? Or
no.
It's Brian.
Brian, sorry.
Brian's last name.
I
want to say yes. You said Branch?
Braylon Kraft?
No,
not Braylon Kraft. Hold on, I'll tell you here in 2 seconds. But like I said, he can stroke that thing, man. He's because he, even in that the loss they had the other day, like he just
Brian Clark.
Yes. Clark, yes. Kid is nice, man. Kid is nice.
100%. Yeah, the loaded team. What was I getting ready to say? So I also want to ask you about I'm assuming you've been around, Coach Sharman White. Just from your perspective, just how what's your relationship like? How is he? Kind of off the court, laid back during the interview session.
That's for me.
Yes, sir.
Oh man, Coach White is phenomenal, man. Phenomenal guy, man. So I started, my first contact was when he was at Miller Grove. Of course, he led Miller Grove to, I think it was 5 in a row and 7 total state titles, something like that. My math is probably off a little bit, but I want to say for sure 5 in a row. So I first met Coach White back then when he was at Miller Grove, and he has always been, just, man, the type of talent that he's had a chance to leave his imprint on, whether it's been at Miller Grove, whether it's been at Pace, whether it's been USA basketball. The guy's just the nicest guy in the world, man. And, you would never think that, and maybe I shouldn't say you would never think, but, he just, I don't even know how to explain it, man, but the guy is just 100% just genuine about everything. Reach out to him. He's always responding. Like anytime I've wanted to get him on the show, I love the guy, man. Everything that's been happening for him throughout his career as a coach, man, he's 100% earned every ounce of it, man. Everything.
That's great insight there about Day, man. Naj, who do you like in this matchup?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with it all depends on the health of obviously Eric Chatfield. Like he said, he is a difference maker. He didn't play. Chandler Bing could carry the scoring load, but outside of him, what else can they score at? I like Breland Kraft, the young whippersnapper, man, only a freshman. He looks like he's cool, calm, and collected and poised, and he can run an offense being that young. He showed some flash in that game. I like him. Billy Louiscano, coach was having to talk to him a little bit more. Young freshman, but you can tell he's going through those growing pains still, so he's still figuring some things out. But yeah, I mean, if Eric don't play, I get an edge to Pebblebrook. If Eric plays, then I think Pace will come out on top. They got Anthony Mann, a really good young guy for Pebblebrook, sophomore that can really ball and fill it up on the stat sheet.
Mm-hmm.
But Eric Chatfield, from Georgia Tech fans that could be watching, he is that good. I still want to see him in person. I've seen clips and highlights, but he is that big of a difference maker with how he gets into the offense, how he set up his teammates, and the attention that he draws. So if he plays, Pace. If he don't, Pebblebrook.
I agree, y'all. I'm gonna slide with the guys on Mableton Road. In Mableton, I'm going with the Pebblebrook Falcons as well. So so that'll conclude the Georgia Elite topic. Now we'll transition into what happened this past weekend. So Grayson, they took a trip to Massachusetts and they ended up on the wrong side of some rabid fans as not Bryce. As Bryce James kind of had a career game against him. So now I'm sure you've seen this by now. What do you make of Bryce's spectacular performance? 16 points.
It was a good performance. He played really, really well in some steep competition. That's what people have been asking about. But I don't want to take it too much out of context. That is a career high for him, 16 points. He's supposed to be an elite prospect. We want to see a little bit more, but I do want to give him credit where credit is due. He did score 16 in that win. I thought it was a good performance, show a little bit of everything in his bag. But nonetheless, man, it was just a tough shooting night for Grayson, right? Your best player, Caleb Holt, was 2 for 13, right? Jacob Wilkins, 2 for 7. I think as a whole, they were 17 for 50. So a tough shooting night for the Rams, but commended him for a really good performance. And if you're an Arizona fan, you should be excited. We just want to see more out of that, out of obviously Bryce James.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, overall, man, listen, I don't, again, when these teams, take on these, these national competitors, man, I think it's good to see one of the younger guys step up because obviously everybody's kind of watching Wilkins and who's the other one you just named? Najee. Yeah. So for me personally, it's kind of good to see the young guy kind of step up on a national stage like that. I don't think you take anything away from Grayson in that loss. Listen, this is what you do. You go out and you try to play the best of the best as much as you can. And again, it's a situation for Grayson, just like I mentioned with Milton and Wheeler. Only losses are national losses, right? So it's good to see that the young boy was able to hold his own against against one of the national spotlight. But for me with Grayson, I wouldn't take just take the what is it, salt with the grain. I'm getting old now. It's good to see James do his thing, but for as far as Grayson not having a good night, man, I wouldn't. The Sierra Canyon, man, that team stays loaded year after year. We're not talking about we're talking about high school kids that are known nationally that always play at Sierra Canyon. So for Grayson, man, that's hey man, hats off for them for going out and playing these big time opponents. Because guess what? All it's going to do is have them come back in here and be ready for region play, which they're in the midst of right now. You know what I'm saying? You're talking about the defending state champs. And again, only 2 losses on the season, both losses to national opponents.
Nah, 100%, man. And that's, yes, we when we're looking at Georgia high school basketball, we're looking at, Grayson being the cream of the crop, but we alluded to at the beginning of the show, is how is Georgia basketball stacking up against everybody else, to see that. Of course, we know it takes time. We want to see these guys mixed together, like Caleb Holt coming from Alabama, mixing in with some guys that kind of have chemistry. He's a very ball dominant guard, but it's just unfortunate to see. I like to see that our teams win against elite talent when they go out and play nationally, but it didn't happen. They struggled, but we're getting ready to transition to a guy that's out of the DMV area. Mr. Meeks, Ashton Meeks, did his thing this Saturday or Sunday, had 20 points, earning him the MVP of the game. I was in a 63-40 win over Whitney Young, a school out of Illinois. So, definitely shout out to him on the DMV. But we're going to move on to the next topic, and that's going to be the man of the day, you know what I'm saying, Caleb Wilson. They took on St. Joseph. I said I do they lost. I pulled the box score here in a minute, but I'm saying, Naj, I'm gonna extend the floor to you. I'm saying, what did you? I'm saying, how did he look? I know you've seen the film. You know what I'm saying, and where do you think he will go? You know what I'm saying, his final decision.
Yeah, so 61-57 loss. He absolutely balled in that one, 21 points, 15 rebounds. Just showed the full quartet. What I did like is he went against an elite opponent in that game against St. Joseph, Tunde Yusufal, who's going to Baylor. He's a Baylor signee now and still did his thing. Now obviously, Tundon went off and scored his 20, but Caleb went and scored his 20. And then obviously Kingston Whitty had 10, Devin Hutchinson had 12. So getting a little bit more. I think this year Caleb has more help compared to maybe last year. He still had Devin Hutchinson, but when you add a Kingston Whitty, another guy that could do a little bit of everything, you're looking at a team that is a little bit more complete this year, I think, compared to last year's team. And they only in private this year instead of 4A as they were last year going up against North Oconee. So I think he just continues to affect the game. If you need him to be a scorer, Caleb can be a scorer. If you need Caleb to put the ball down below and put his back to the basket, he can do that. If you need him to defend at a high level, check that box. You know what I'm saying? If you need him to stretch the defense with the three, he can do that too. He's one of the best prospects in the country for a reason, man. And I think he did what he needed to do. When he continues to show against elite competition, he's going to come to play. We've seen him before multiple times. Baker, we've seen him in EYBL circuit against elite competition. We've seen him obviously going up against high school competition. And I love that he didn't run from the smoke. Most guys, they run and they go to the higher leagues, the higher privates. He's staying with it. And, you know what I'm saying, he's showing that, hey, I'm going to try to lead my team to a national title or not a national, a state championship, similar to what we seen with Slim last year, Bacon. Isaiah Evans, he said, I'm going to get out the mud, North Mecklenburg, and bring them a title. I think Caleb's the same thing. Right now, he's trending towards North Carolina. We'll see what happens. He's going to announce the decision on TNT, which is very intriguing. I love that he's going on that on a national platform to announce his decision, showing that, hey, I am a marquee talent in the country, right? I should be celebrated in that manner. And I don't think it's an arrogant thing. I just think like he's saying, hey, let me go ahead and show that I'm the next generation crop of talent, right? We see AJ DeBoston, we talked about earlier, doing that move as well. So I love that from a marketing perspective as well for him. And he's obviously already under some big brands, Nike, several others with NIL and everything like that. But I think it should go to Kentucky, if I had to say it. I think it's going to be North Carolina, but I think he should go to Kentucky. You get a big three already starting there. You got a Caden Lewis, and then you got Jasper Johnson to go along with you, a dynamic three. If you go over with, obviously, North Carolina, you have Dorian Jones and Amari Bynum, you kind of more so going to be that guy to me. They're so high-end guys, top 100 recruits, but when you look at Kentucky, they have a chance to win a national title next year, regardless of what Duke is bringing in next year, a top 5 class with the Boozer twins and everybody else. And that's going to restore that North Carolina-Duke rivalry. Obviously, it's always been great, but I've taken another level if he goes North Carolina. But at the same time, Kentucky, he has a chance to win a national title.
Absolutely, man. A team that I was pleased to see, you know what I'm saying, come out of Georgia and do that thing. Is this the best team out of Georgia? I don't know. But this is a good performance. This is probably one of the first times Caleb had to come out and probably put up 21 points, you know what I'm saying, in a game. Not 21 points, but 21 shot attempts, you know what I'm saying, being an official scorer here at home, and, you know, it's interesting to see. And I agree with you. I would like to see him go to Kentucky. But, you know what I'm saying, it's just the Booster Twins. It's just the Booster Twin effect, man. You know what I'm saying? Going out of the peach, so hoisting up the peaches, man. Maybe this is an opportunity for storyline. We get to see them go each other down. I'm definitely having my popcorn extra buttery, low salt, but yeah, I'm definitely going to enjoy it. But before we get done with this topic today, who you got? How do you feel about this game?
Well, first of all, when it comes to Caleb, man, I want him to go to North Carolina. I'm a Tar Heel fan, so that's personal preference. I would love to see him go over there and team up with Elliott. If you know, just I can only imagine that 1-2 combo, what that would look like. But you know, had Caleb on, had him on last week actually on the show, and just great young man. I started watching him on his freshman year, and you just knew he was special, and the way his game has just continued to grow and grow. Because when you see kids that talented, that young, you kind of always wonder, you know, how will their game, you know, grow as they grow, physically. And I mean, just everything you needed him to add to the bag has been added to the bag. And Najee, you touched on it. I mean, he's a problem as a defender because of his length. Offensively, he can stretch the floor. He can create a shown shot off the dribble. I mean, just the kid is just a straight up stud. And like you said, one of the top prospects, in the country for a reason. It's just a phenomenal situation. I love, again, guys, we've had so many talent, guys like this coming out of the state of Georgia. So that's why I tout Georgia as one of the top states for when it comes down to producing, not just, obviously basketball talent, but high school talent in general. So personally, I would love to see him go to North Carolina. But at the end of the day, too, I think it all just depends on, the path he's looking to take as well. I mean, the reality is, is he looking to be a one and done? Does he want to go to college and maybe try to give, chase after a national championship more than 1 year? So I think that's going to obviously probably play a role in his decision and what he decides to do. But personally, man, I would love to see him rocking that Carolina blue, man. Would love to see it, man. So, but man, phenomenal young man. And, one of the things, and I think you said something to this effect, Najee, like one of the things going into this summer was there was a lot of curiosity about whether or not he would return to Holy Innocents. Not really. In all honesty, I don't know where that even came from, but it was just one of those things where people were just like, oh, he ain't going to go back. He ain't going to go back. He going to go somewhere and, get on a national schedule and da-da-da-da. And it just had me thinking, and, I kind of was just watching his social media all summer to see like, okay, is he going to post anything that kind of leads to that? And, next thing you know, summer's getting ready to wrap up and there's Holy Innocents post. So I'm like, cool. It was kind of cool to see him, like you said, return. And like I said, when I talked to him last week, that's one of the things he talked about was the fact that losing last year in that title game, that left a taste in his mouth that he wants to wipe that out. You know what I'm saying? And you can't do that by going somewhere else. You got to come back. You got to get with your guys and you got to say, let's go. And that's what he decided to do. So, looking forward to seeing how they wrap things up. But man, the kids had a phenomenal high school career, man. And it's just for me personally, it's always awesome to see these kids have this kind of success and then go on to the next level and continue to have success.
Absolutely, man. Definitely.
Hopefully he'll do it in Carolina blue.
I hear you, brother. Does he's committing? What time is he committing?
He's not committing.
They just said on TNT. I got the Hawks on, so they're on FanDuel. So I guess I should switch over. I don't know if it's gonna be because it's Thursday. TNT typically does 2 games on Thursdays, right?
Yep.
So I'm assuming maybe it would be in between.
After the Celtics game.
Yeah, that's per reports. After Celtics versus Lakers, which is late, but we'll see.
Okay.
Sheesh.
So wait, are Celtics on the West Coast though tonight, aren't they? Or are they back home?
I think they're on the West Coast because they just played Clippers last night. I don't think.
Yeah, because they just played Clippers. Yeah, so that's gonna be late. Oh, I won't know about that till in the morning. Y'all know I got to get up. I got to go to bed. So.
Hey, I'm right there with you, brother. I'm right there with you. Late so but early though.
Yeah, I won't know about that one until morning time.
As long as we get it, it's how it matters.
Yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
Let me see what we got left on the schedule. All right, we don't got too much. If y'all don't mind, I'm gonna share Ashton. I want to get a Preps' reaction. I want you to lay your eyes on the brother Ashton Meeks out of the DMV area and just give me what you think. You know what I'm saying? All right, this kid at the Math, historic high school in the area. On that off his span this. I believe the brother's like 6'1" now. Just check. Do you already see here, dog? He got the D-Wade strap on the right arm. Number 3, water ball.
Nice.
Excuse me. Catch and shoot. From
just
30.
Wet with it. Just wet with it.
Dribble, pull up, calm, and transition. Shooter now.
Here we go.
Easy pull
Okay.
up.
So he can get to his space and he can just.
Got some place with nice pace. He can definitely take over if necessary. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Obviously, he's a shorter guard, but you know what I'm saying? What do you think?
Well, I love the way that he can, like I was saying, he can kind of, off the dribble, get to his space, get to the space that he wants and knock down that jumper, man. That's not an easy thing to do. You know what I'm saying? So love the fact that he, and then again, the way he's knocking that thing down. I'm impressed. I like it, man. I like it. So I think, and what's his classification? He's senior this year?
I believe so. I believe he's
26.
26, so he's a junior. Okay. Yeah. So I wonder if anybody from Georgia is going to try to face off against him next season. I might have to try to peep that.
Nah, we need to see the math of, you know what I'm saying, play some Georgia schools.
Yeah. That'd be well, you never know. It could be one of those things that after everybody wraps up their states, they get into the national matchups after, that national championship. Maybe we could see it then.
Sure. And then Sidwell Friends, what's Gonzaga? It'd be nice to see them play some Southern teams, man. Little DMV area, see to the north versus see to the south. No, just New York, but DC, it's DC. But we'll move on. College basketball news. Naj, I'm going to start with you here. I'm saying Auburn. They almost fell to the Bulldogs out of Georgia. Ace Newell did his thing. Obviously, they're still missing Broome for Alabama. But what did you see in this matchup?
Yeah, I mean, you seen Tahad Pettiford, man, show the stud that he is, man. He went off and down with 5 of 7 from 3, 24 points for him. He really filling it up, and he stepped up in a big way in the absence of Broome, Johnny Broome, who's obviously averaging 17 points per game. He's kind of picked up that scoring load for them, and they got a whole bunch of guys that can score, Miles Kelly and everything like that. What I'm most impressed with, though, with Georgia is they were getting whooped on early in that game, right? They had like a 12 to 15-point lead, and Georgia comes storming back, right? A very deep team, and I think Georgia is on the precipice of something special. I don't know if that's going to be this year, but that program is trending in the right way. You've seen a packed-out crowd. You're seeing more people going to games. That's a college football program team, right? But you are seeing this kind of almost become similar to what an Auburn, Alabama was in their early days before they became what they were known for, which is obviously also basketball schools. Like we used to always think Bama, Bama is just a football school. Right now, like, okay, Bama is also a basketball school. Okay, Auburn's also a basketball school with Bruce Pearl. I think we're starting to see that with Georgia a little bit, right? With Asa Newell, who had a pretty good game in that one. He dropped 16 points and 10 boards, finished with a double-double. We're seeing them become better and better, landing top-end recruits like a Jacob Wilkins in this 2025 class. Mm-hmm. And I think they showed you, like you said, you see right here, they were up 22-7, 11-0 run. Like, they was whooping on Georgia. And the fact that Auburn only won by 2 points, that is a testament to Georgia. I still think they should be ranked. They might fall out of the rankings, but I think you're seeing a team that can battle and contend with some of the top echelon in the SEC. And if they can get a couple more quad wins going forward, they should be just fine.
I agree. What you got, Preps?
Yeah, I mean, listen, Georgia's in a tough stretch right now. Unfortunately, there was the Auburn loss, which, like you said, it was a very good game. They battled themselves back. Then and obviously that was coming off the loss to Tennessee, which Tennessee just unfortunately was just too much for them, unfortunately in that one. But then they turned around last night and fall to Arkansas in another close matchup, and really a play that should not have happened. There's no way he should have missed that free throw and then still got his own rebound. But that's neither here nor there. The problem for Georgia now, though, is they head into a stretch of conference games where 6 of the matchups are all ranked teams. So with them falling out of the top 25, now you're looking at a situation where you're going to have to knock off a number 5 Florida, who you got to face twice. You're going to have to beat them at least once for sure. And then I forgot who the other 5 SEC teams are. Alabama's in there in that schedule. But, you got of your final conference games, you got 6 ranked teams that you got to play, 5 or 6, including, Florida twice. So they're going to have to find a way to finish strong and, again, knock off, I think, a win over Florida. If they can kind of split that one and maybe get lucky and knock off Alabama, maybe, they got to do – is that Auburn again? Yeah, they got Auburn again. So it's tough. And then you got to turn around and get into the SEC championship. And depending on how this final stretch goes, you may be looking at a situation where Georgia's going to have to dang near they're going to have to at least get to the SEC championship game in order for to find themselves, potentially dancing when it comes to March. So, unfortunate that these 3 losses have happened the way they had. It would have been nice if one of these 3 teams they could have knocked off, particularly either a Tennessee or Auburn, because I think, like you said, that gives you the quad, the upper wins, quad 1 wins, and but now you lose to Tennessee was number 6 at the time that they lost to them. Then you turn around and lose to the number 1 team. Then you turn around and lose to Arkansas, who hadn't even had a win in conference yet. And like I said, now you're going into this tough stretch, man. So I don't know, man. It's gonna be tough for them to possibly get into the dance at this point, because they're gonna have to steal a couple of these ranked wins and have a phenomenal outing in the SEC conference. In the SEC tournament.
Mm-hmm. That's a fact. We're gonna see if this Georgia team can grow up and win. Like I said, got to play Mississippi State, Texas A&M. Those are some tough teams. South Carolina's no
South Carolina. Yeah, I was gonna say South Carolina. They only lost by 1 to Florida last night. So the SEC, and that's what you're starting to see. A lot of these teams are starting to beat each other up. So it's possible, but Georgia's they got to turn this around. They got to snap. They got to get out of this skid that they're in. And it's unfortunately that 2 of those losses come to 2 of the top ranked teams in the country.
Absolutely, I agree. Like I said, Georgia's got to grow up. For Auburn, what I'm saying, they got a quick turnaround. I think the next game is Tennessee, so that's gonna be an opportunity. Tennessee gets some get back at home for who?
Tennessee. Saturday, Solid Blockbuster.
That's what you need to.
ESPN college.
Auburn's at home or Tennessee?
Auburn's at home.
For sure, definitely, brother. You always been ahead of the game. I like. So, but yeah, we'll keep it there. But this is the schedule right here.
So this is net ranking. So I wanted y'all to see that. I know Day was talking about it. So this is where Georgia ranks at. So when I was talking about that quad 1 win, right, on the road is top 30, right. So they still got to play a lot of these teams as you were kind of alluding to, right. So when you look at some of these teams, like if they can go and beat a Texas A&M, a 14 net ranking, that's a quad 1 victory for them, right. If they can go and beat, Auburn on the road, obviously these are tough. That's a quad 1 win. So right now they're 2-5, but they're 2-0 in the quad 2. So if they can get and establish a couple more quad 1 wins, I think they will be fine for the tournament. That's what the tournament want to look at, and they want to look at your strength of your schedule. So if your strength of your schedule is good and you're picking up these quality wins, they'll be just fine. I think over that stretch that you alluded to, Day, they just need to go maybe like 3-3. I think they'll be just fine.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I said, if they can at least steal a win over Florida and somehow, get some redemption against Auburn, I think they'd be in good shape.
100%. Yep, because they still got Mississippi State, Auburn, Texas A&M. So if they can they go like 2-1 during that stretch, I think Georgia's fine.
Yeah.
For sure. I'm saying that'll give them momentum as they go into the SEC tournament. But you know what I'm saying, update, we got near 500 people in here watching us tonight, so we appreciate the tuners. I mean, not the tuners, but the viewers tapping in on a Thursday evening. I'm saying to learn about some hoops and enjoy some hoops for sure. But I'm saying definitely got to talk about our Yellow Jackets, man. One beat Virginia Tech. They look good. Let me pull up the stats, man. They look good. But against an ACC opponent. But I think that any dreams or aspirations to get into the NCAA tournament, I think is all downhill. Let's say just go win the SEC tournament. That's gonna be the only way. You know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, a win against Virginia Tech, 71-64. Naj, the floor is yours.
Yeah, man. So they've been currently on a 4-game losing streak. So this was a big game for Yellow Jackets fans that was watching. Just getting back on snuff. The problem is, y'all, they've had so many injuries, right? And they've started games so slow, as I pointed out here in this article on SI, right? They were trailing most games. This one, they start off 13-4 run. Duncan Powell has 8 points during that stretch. He was a big profound proponent for them starting off the game hot, right? But I like how they finished the game. Baden Ndongo coming off of a 3-point outing right? Fouling out against Florida State. He comes back a 14-point, 9-rebound, 5 steal performance, performing when you needed it the most, right? And no Lance Terry, he's out with the flu, right? Jaden Mustaf's in a walking boot. Kawasi Reeves in a walking boot. You know what I'm saying? Dorian Chukwu's out. You know what I'm saying? This injury after injury after injury. So it's just been so tough for them this season to get any kind of momentum going with people being out. But I think Duncan Robinson, Duncan Powell, excuse me, as I pointed out too, he deserves a chance to be more inside of the starting lineup. As I put here, he start himself, scored a career high 23 points in that victory for Georgia Tech, man. He continues to show what he can do. One thing, the biggest takeaway though, Bacon, for them is that they helped the ACC tournament chances. Coming into this matchup, they were a bottom 3 team in the ACC. So getting that win, they beat Virginia Tech, who's above them. They get more into the ACC tournament. The ACC tournament is important because if you can make a run and get hot, imagine if they go and get healthy. They get back Luke O'Brien, their sharpshooter, Kawasi Reeves, they do it all type of player, Jaden Mustaf, or Chekwu. They get some of these players back, they could be potentially dangerous. Now, I'm not saying they're going to go and beat all these ACC teams, but the ACC is not as tough as people may think. They do have a chance to potentially go up against maybe a Duke and make a run. You know what I'm saying, potentially in that tournament. The only team, and I think they would do a lot for their tournament chances, even though it is very slim, and I'm going to share the screen real quick with y'all, is if they can beat, next week is a big week for them, right? You got to beat, yes, you got to beat a Notre Dame, and then you got to beat this team. You got it at home. You need this upset badly, right? And that's right here. Louisville.
Yeah.
They have the top net rating. You have to beat them. If you want any chance of getting in, and you got to go on the road and beat a Clemson team who's likely going to make the tournament. This 3-game stretch right here is going to tell us all we need to know if they're going to even have a chance of getting in. It's not now, but if you don't win those games, you're done. And the problem is, too, Bacon, and prep before I bring y'all in here, that game against UNC, they could have won. They should have won that one. You know, bad things late in that game. Going against Oklahoma, if you could have beat them, that would have been a good resume. And then you had Duke at home, but they only played those teams once is the problem. Usually you'll play Duke twice, North Carolina twice. That did not happen this year.
Yeah, and that Alabama, unfortunately for them, they've got a couple of losses that are going to be black eyes, like that Alabama A&M that you know, when you had that screen up there, you know, losses like that are going to definitely put a black eye. So I was going to your point, I literally was going to say that same thing. The Notre Dame matchup, the Louisville matchup, and the Clemson matchup. Those are 3 wins they need if we're quite honest with each other. You know, if we're quite honest about it, they need those 3 wins going down the stretch here. And listen, Virginia's kind of had their number. Virginia's still coming up. Virginia's kind of had their number over the years. So, you know, I know you touched on the fact that they've, you know, health has kind of been an issue for them. So they got to find a way to, you know, get guys to step up because, I mean, you know, it's the ACC, man. So can't, you know, ain't no excuses. Somebody's hurt. It's got to be next man up mentality. And they got to find a way to string together a good amount of wins before this ACC tournament. Honestly, if you ask me right now, I don't see them making the dance. I just don't think, you know, I just don't think they have the quality wins there in order to do so. But again, if they can go on a nice run down the stretch here, and then have a good outing in the ACC tournament, maybe they can turn things around.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah, I agree. It would have to take but if they could get everything together, you know, momentum is everything. Because I thought Duncan Powell was going to be probably the X factor down the stretch as we see him turning it on, and to have everything aligned. It's just unfortunate that we don't get to see what it could have been, but it's not over yet, right? So we'll see.
Yeah.
Shout out to Coach Stoudemire and the crew, man. Wish y'all the best of luck going forward. But that'll conclude. Actually, let's see. We got UConn. How do y'all feel about UConn, man? It's been a lot of Dan Hurley's been in the headlines of late.
Hurley, man, that guy there, man. That's Mr. I don't give a.
Rats. I'll give rats.
Yeah. Listen, I mean, he's backed everything up these last few seasons, right? So, you know, I didn't like how he handled them losing early in the season when they lost in was the Maui Invitational when they lost the 2 games. I thought that was kind of a little classless how he handled that. But you know, other than that, man, UConn's been having a pretty good year. Here Hurley is just funny, man. He just don't give none.
Rats, man. Don't give a rats.
Yeah, he doesn't, man.
For sure. So do y'all think, you know what I'm saying? I mean, obviously they're gonna make the tournament, but do y'all think you think they're gonna make noise, or is it just too many things in the way right now? Are they in the
You
way?
know, this tournament could be wide open. I don't see a lock this year. I think last year you saw Connecticut. They really looked like the team that they were going to do it again. I don't really see that. Because everybody's having moments right now. Tennessee's lost. Florida messed around and got waxed the other day, right? What was that last week? So I don't. No one to me has had that performance, that stretch where you're just like, that's the team. That's the team that's going to be the team to beat. And we're in a new era of college hoops anyway, man. I mean, once you get into that dance and you got those mid-majors coming in there, that guys that are juniors and seniors and been together for 3-4 years playing these these teams full of, sophomore, freshmen and sophomores. Hey, man, things change, man. Things change. So I just haven't seen, me personally, I haven't seen a team that I think is just going to dominate their way through. Now, I will say this. Being a UNC fan, Duke is probably the most intriguing and probably the closest to it. That freshman core that they have over there at Duke, man, that's special. For me to say that about a Duke team, again, as a UNC fan,
right?
Listen, they got a special thing going on over there. But again, saw them fall earlier this year to Kentucky. You know what I mean? So I just think this year it could be wide open. I think this is probably going to be – this may be one of the more exciting tournaments in the sense of you're really not going to know who it's going to be.
100%. Got anything to add, Naj? Or do you I'm going to move on to Ace Bailey if not.
I think they're still figuring it out for UConn. This probably been the most challenging job so far for Coach Hurley. I don't think he had the same crop of talent coming back this year and even coming in, to your point too as well, Prep. I just think it's been a different year for them, and he's still trying to navigate and figure it all out. They've struggled against inferior competition, right? Barely came out on top against Butler. Like, these are teams they dominated a year ago, and they're struggling. They're 2-2 in their last 4. So still figuring that part out, things like that. We'll see. If you get in the tournament, like Dede said, anything can happen, man. So you just don't know. Only 2 teams I will say that look really good is Auburn and Duke. And Duke actually beat Auburn with Johnny Broome. You know what I'm saying? As far as, I'm not saying they're dominant or anything like that, but they look like they know what they're doing and they got it under control. You know what I'm saying? To a degree. Not dominant, under control. Those would be my 2 teams I would say, okay, yeah, you might not want to play them. Everybody else kind of up in the air. Tennessee's had up and downs. Florida got waxed. You know what I'm saying? Recently, like you said, Tennessee got waxed by Florida. Everything else is just up and down. You know what I'm saying? But when you look at Duke and you look at Auburn, they've been the most consistent, I think, this year.
Definitely. I throw in Oklahoma, Texas, Trey Johnson, and Baylor. And we have elite guard players who might get off. Those are some teams to watch. I think UConn, you throw in that same category. Kansas, I think probably gonna be some bracket busters. Probably might see it in round of 32, but I think Sweet 16. It could be earlier than that, but round of 32, definitely. But Sweet 16, that's a round of circle for upsets for sure. But we definitely got to talk about Ace Bailey, man, being probably being the most prolific, polarizing figure to me. Probably since Colin Sexton, says people probably may blow me up if they see this, like, man, what you talking about, man? You got Isaiah Carter, Scoot Henderson, but I just think Ace Bailey is he's in another stratosphere. Having 30 points in the loss to Penn State, 24 against Nebraska, 20 against UCLA, 17 points, and also get this 80% from the 3-point line against Penn State, 57% against Nebraska. 44 against Purdue, man. Have y'all been keeping up with Ace Bailey? Have y'all been seeing this? I haven't watched any game live, but I have been keeping up with him. Go ahead,
yeah.
Why?
Go ahead, now.
Yeah, I want to get Dede. Why is he polarizing?
Why is he polarizing?
Yeah, explain that.
Polarizing because he's almost 7 foot. He's 6'8", 6'9" with the handle. We see him score. He scored 30, close to 40 points last year off of barely any dribbles. And that's some Klay Thompson things, man. I just think the kid is big time, man, coming out of Chattanooga. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, man, people big call me crazy, but that's polarizing stuff, man. Slam.
I think he's having a well. Go. I'll let you go, Najee. I'm just gonna say, you can come back to me. I think he's having a decent year, individually, but I think the issue is just Rutgers is struggling.
The freshman lit. And I just think that's what happens when you got a freshman. But like I said, man, just the whole you know what I'm saying, vibrations around Ace Bailey, to me, I just think he's one of those ones. It was something else I was going to say. Like I said, the slam thing, you know what I'm saying, teaming up with Dylan Harper at the tip-off classic, you know what I'm saying, you seeing it kind of brew up. You know what I'm saying, it's just a different feeling, you know. And then his height, you know what I'm saying, along with his game. That was my thinking. But you know what I'm saying, before we get out of basketball, I do want to ask y'all, so we got to bring football into basketball, saying this some type of way, because we all love football. Kel had a basketball game not too long ago. And then we saw Kirby Smart and saying Coach Key, you know what I'm saying? They were, just sitting around, you know what I'm saying, they were sitting close by, you know what I'm saying, to see an enemy, you know what I'm saying, so close, man. What y'all think of that, man? Obviously, we know coaches are out seeing kids in football, you know what I'm saying, but they saw a game. So what was y'all thoughts on that?
And they were at which game was this at? He was talking about the Georgia basketball game?
It was Kel had a basketball game, and they
Kel High School. Oh, okay.
Yeah. And
I didn't know about that. I know he's been in state. I seen the chopper landed over at where was it? Over at Douglas County the other day. Like I know he's been making his rounds, so I didn't realize he had went to the Kel basketball game. I think he actually was over. He went and saw the running back over at Langston Hughes too earlier this week, if I'm not mistaken. It might have either been this week or late last week, but I mean, that's what Kirby's known for, honestly, man. Coach Smart is known for just, listen, he knows for Georgia to be elite, he's got to win Georgia. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's got to win recruiting in Georgia. And listen, the reality is Brent Key is trying to, Brent Key knows that's a thing too, right? So now he knows, and unfortunately, man, for these coaches, man, I feel for college coaches, man. You gotta re-recruit the kids that are there.
Yeah.
You gotta try to go get these kids that you're trying to bring in. Now you got to take a glance at the portal and see who's going to be worthy bringing over or in approach. It's a trip, but no, that's pretty cool that he was at a Kel basketball game. They say that's how Lab McConkey got his offer. Was Kirby went to see him play basketball. He had never seen him play football, and went and saw him play basketball. And the talent he saw from him playing basketball was what let him get his offer. I think he was like a late offer, if I'm not mistaken.
That's tough.
But that's the story kind of behind Ladd. So it's not surprising that he's at a game, just checking out the local talent. Not at all.
100%. Got anything, Nash?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. You got two teams recruiting at a high end. I'm saying, my bad. Trying to figure it out and everything. But you got the two head coaches, right? I think they have mutual respect for each other. But like what Dana said, you try to get those in-state wins, right? You try to get those wins. Like, okay, I'll give you an example to Dana's point, right? You got obviously Braden Rouse, who was a player that is a guy they want to get. Georgia just offered him, right? So that's kind of a recruiting battle. Now currently he's trending towards Tennessee, right? But those are two guys that they're trying to land. Right, I'll give you another one. Tate Harris, right? That formerly Georgia commit, goes to Clemson. Yeah. They keep him home. He comes to Georgia Tech, right? Christian Garrett, initially Georgia commit. He flips him to Georgia Tech. So you're going to have to win, to what they said, those in-state recruiting battles if you want a chance to compete with a Georgia and these in-state programs and be on that national stage and in the national championship, college football playoff, whatever you want to say. So I think what we're seeing is a change of the guard, a better matchup between Georgia and Georgia Tech, and we've seen it with a historic game, 8 overtime rivalry between two really good opponents, and they had a chance to knock them off. Couldn't quite finish it, but you see that Georgia Tech is that far off. You know what I'm saying? They are getting there. You know what I'm saying? Now, it's hard to compete with Georgia, but like he said, going to those games, getting with the recruits, and sometimes, as to what they said, sometimes those recruits, you'll find them in basketball and be like, oh, maybe I should offer him a spot here for football and see what he could do. Big 6'7", 6'8" guy. You know what I'm saying? He could be your next tight end. You know what I'm saying? If you develop it the right win. So you just never know. So it's good to see both of them going out and just trying to recruit the state and bring in top end guys.
Yeah, 100%.
I agree. So that'll conclude everything. Actually, one more. I just wanted to talk about for the Take fans that are in here for basketball wise. I had a chance to top it up with you know what I'm saying, with Mr. Gillespie. You know what I'm saying, Mark Gillespie out of Athens. We're talking about, you know what I'm saying, Georgia. You know what I'm saying, at OTE right now. You know what I'm saying, struggling with the cold hearts, but you know what I'm saying, the confidence is still high, right? You know what I'm saying, Kai. You know what I'm saying, out indefinitely. You know what I'm saying, he said he possibly may see his role increase, but you know what I'm saying, for the Tech fans, he does like Georgia Tech. You know what I'm saying, has a real good relationship with them. But you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying, obviously, he was introduced to us as a scorer. His whole MO this year has been 3-and-D guy, playing a lot more defense. I feel like he's one of the top some defenders at OTE. We know his story, winning the tryout. You know what I'm saying, that was inspiring. But he's a great young man. If you want to see more on that, you can definitely tap into Bacon Network and see that interview. But definitely want to get an update on Marcus Gillespie. So as I said that, we were going to transition in the NBA news, and one of the hottest topics in the NBA as we come to a close has been Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Buckets, the feud with him between Pat Riley has been comical. It has been in everything theater. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, Jimmy Butler being that guy, you know what I'm saying, who comes in, who's kind of, you know what I'm saying, come in, you know what I'm saying, also had a strong mentality, you know what I'm saying, being homeless, coming up gutter, you know, Pat Riley, you know what I'm saying, being the person he is, being that coach for the Los Angeles Lakers back in the day, coming in, garnering respect from the league, you know what I'm saying, cracking the whip, so to speak. But that, you know what I'm saying, how do you feel about Jimmy Butler and, you know what I'm saying, the feud with Pat Riley?
I think at this point, you know, Pat Riley and the Heat, they need to just let Jimmy, you know, just give him what he wants. Just make a trade, because right now what you don't need is just that negativity that the situation in itself is bringing to the locker room. Because you got guys in there that just want to go out there and play and win, right? And the Jimmy Butler thing is it's a distraction right now. And it's getting drawn out too long. So in my opinion, I think the best thing to do right now is just to find a way to make a trade that both parties are happy. Let's not make it a petty party. You know what I'm saying? You know, well, you want to be traded? All right, we're gonna send you to Sacramento. You know, just look, get what you can get from which you can probably get some value for Jimmy. Get it. The problem is, I wonder how other teams look at this situation, and Jimmy in particular. You know, is he worth bringing in if this is the mindset he has whenever things, let's just be real, it aren't going his way. You know what I mean? So I think that may be a challenge, or it's at least something I would wonder how other teams are kind of looking at the situation when it comes to him, and how bad do you want him? You know, do you want to bring that into your locker room? So, because I'll be honest with you, I thought when he said today, apparently he reportedly put out a statement that he just wants to be traded anywhere except for Memphis. So my first thought was, would he be a fit in Atlanta? But then what would Atlanta have to give up in order to get him? And would we even want that in Atlanta? And like I said, that's my problem. Like, it's too negative at this point.
It's facts. It's facts. I mean, to your point, Day, I think Jimmy has a different, vibrant type personality. He's not going to rub everybody the right way, right? And I think that's why he's been able to get out the mud, like you said, making homeless and get to this point. You have to have a different kind of vibe, energy, kind of just work ethic to you in order to kind of survive them type of circumstances that he went through.
Yeah.
And it's not going to rub everybody the right way. Like, now we see a society is coddled, you know, people are spoiled. And I'm not saying what he's doing right now is right. It's not right. He definitely needs to do better with that, as far as saying what he wants. But at the end of the day, as you said, it is a distraction. If I'm the Hawks, I'm not messing with a great young core I got when I look at all of Dyson Daniels, when I look at Jalen Johnson, when I look at those kind of guys that could be cornerstone pieces for me moving forward. I'm not touching that. You know what I'm saying? And we are now a 6 seed because Detroit beat us at our home. I know we were 6 for 38 from 3, but we got a pretty good team. I like what I got. Now next year is just twerking it a little bit, adding some different pieces in, but probably gonna go to a contender if he's not bought out. You know what I'm saying? We'll see when he gets traded to. Wizards has been on the Raptors. He'll probably get bought out and then go to a contender. Because I think the biggest thing he wants is to win a ring. Like, you know, I think he feels like, hey, I dragged Miami to those finals all those years, and, you know, we could never get the help around me to win. Like, I want to win, and I think that's his biggest pressing thing right now. I got the money, I got the fame, but now I want to win a chip before it's said and done.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I agree. Just Jimmy, he gives 110%, you know what I'm saying, to kind of play devil's advocate, so you know what you're gonna give for Jimmy. But you know what I'm saying, he's just a dog, bro. He's just a dog. So I think he's gonna have to go to. I hope they don't send him to Washington. That'd be tough for 1 year. But I would like to see him at a better. Go ahead, Notch. Go ahead.
Real quick, I just want to add up to your point. Sometimes too, man, situations run stale.
Yeah, situations can run stale. I'm saying not getting over the hump. You know, so obviously, expounding himself. You know, what I'm saying in that bubble championship run. But I just want to see him go to a veteran team, like maybe a Phoenix. I honestly wouldn't mind. I think the best case scenario is out in the Bay with the Warriors. I just think him and Draymond could clash. You know what I'm saying? If it'll work, and I think it can. If the guys who just want to work hard, you know what I'm saying, support Steph and because Jimmy's the type of guy who's going to get you there, but he needs a 1A to get him over that hump. I feel so. I think between Phoenix and Golden State are going to be picture perfect for him.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind. I shouldn't say wouldn't mind, but you know, if I'm the Bucks, I would entertain it because Giannis is, you know what I'm saying. You got to bring Giannis is probably only got a year or two before Giannis decides he wants to get somewhere. If you don't win another one, so if I'm the Bucks, I wouldn't mind I'd entertain it, and see if it makes sense, because you know Giannis wants help. And Jimmy would be good help for Giannis.
Yeah, that's true. I throw Chris Middleton and whoever else you need to, maybe a Bobby Portis. You hate to see Bobby go, and you try to hold on to him for dear life. But Bobby Portis and some picks or whatever, you know what I'm saying, make that deal. Yeah, I think you bring somebody in who's definitely going to play just as good as Middleton and probably give you more offensively, definitely on defense, and definitely get some clutch rebounds. But we talked about, Naj brought up Detroit earlier. You know what I'm saying? Detroit earned the 6th seed, one of the hottest teams in the NBA right now, behind probably the Pacers and Oklahoma City, obviously. 7-3 in their last 10 on a 2-game win streak. A lot of people kind of wrote Detroit off. Man, they still ain't ready. But that just shows you how dynamic, you know what I'm saying, I think the Thompson twins are. You know what I'm saying, to see them come out of OTE. The Rockets and the Pistons were two teams that weren't around the conversation. Not just saying that they're doing it by themselves, but nonetheless, you know what I'm saying, Detroit's doing their thing. So, Naj, I'm going to go to you again first here. What's your thoughts on the resurgence of the Detroit Pistons this year?
Yeah, I think it starts with drafting, right? Kate Cunningham was a key piece out of Oklahoma State a few years ago, right? Number 1 overall pick. Dealt with a lot of injuries on slot, but now you're seeing him get better. Dropped 20 in a recent win. I think he had like 10 assists, 6 boards or something like that against the Hawks, I think. But he's gotten better and better. And then, like you said, the infusion of young talent with Osar Thompson, and then these pieces just fitting together, the Jalen Durans of the world, and nobody's talking about 12 points, 11 rebounds in that win. So you're just seeing a team being able to kind of mesh together. Now, it's not saying that they're going to go and beat a really elite team at the top, but they're getting that experience early. And I feel like with the NBA, you always get a team, whether on the East or the West, kind of come out of nowhere, you know what I'm saying, or having a better season than people thought and getting into the postseason and potentially not necessarily get to the finals, but might make a noise, might get a first-round victory. Last year was Orlando, right? And nobody think Orlando was going to be that good, you know what I'm saying? And they, you know, made a little noise. They came up a little bit short, obviously, but still, that was a team that nobody thought, oh, where did this team come from? This year is Detroit, right? And I think what's most impressive, they're winning on the road. They're 13-10 overall on the road. They're better on the road than they are at home. At home, they're 10-11 this year, right? And they are doing really good. They have the 4th most wins on the road outside of, let me make sure I got this right, outside of Cleveland, Boston, and New York. They are the 4th team when you look at that. So when you have that and a team that can win on the road, that definitely does wonders for you. We'll see if they can do it. Maybe come playoff time, they're able to get in, you know what I'm saying, and hold serve. But if your team can play better on the road than at home, you feel good. That's how you still the first game, or you split a series, and you can potentially be dangerous.
Definitely. Dede?
Yeah, man. I think last night was probably my first time actually watching the Pistons this year, and I thought to myself, man, they mirror the Hawks in the sense of you got a nice core of young talent that is starting to grow and come into their own. And the thing that was impressive last night was they did all that without Jaden Ivey, who's still dealing with injuries. So, this is a team that, it looks like they're starting to kind of put it together. And, again, if they can keep this core, because, we know that's kind of the key. And like Najee said, this is a core that, for the most part they drafted, but, they're playing well, man. And they're starting to get into a little groove. They've got a, good record against the conference. Out of conference struggling, I think out of conference, they might be like, I think only one win out of conference. I'm not sure about the losses, but in conference, they're not bad. They're about a 500 team in conference. So, again, and they're on this streak. What is it? 7 out of the last 10 wins? 7 wins out of the last 10 games. Yeah. So, but like I said, watching them last night for the first time, I really was like, wow, like they're like the Hawks with this young core that's kind of been together, and it's starting to gel. And again, Jaden Ivey. So I can only imagine, like, when they get him back, how this thing really could maybe potentially, maybe take them to another level. So yeah, very impressed with what I saw out of the Pistons last night. And they dominated the Hawks. Now, granted, the Hawks you could have put them in a chair, sat them right above the rim and said, drop the ball in the hole, and they still would have missed the way they were shooting last night. But they still, like, they were in control of that game. And, once they saw the Hawks struggles, they never let up.
I agree. Definitely a team drafted very well. I like Ron Holland on that team. We're gonna talk about what's his name? Not Beasley, but Malik Beasley. Malik Beasley is another guy. I'm saying. I think.
And you got veteran presence in Tim Hardaway Jr.
Tim Hardaway Jr. Exactly. Tobias Harris, who a lot of people kind of wrote off, sitting over to die. So it's probably a good playoff team. I like, definitely Cade Cunningham, who burned the eyelids off Atlanta at home. Not this time, but the last time at the buzzer. So, man, definitely Detroit's a team to look out for. I'm saying, before we wrap up NBA, we definitely got to talk about another hometown guy, man. I think we got to really consider Georgia as one of those states we look at. Yeah, they put out elite talent. Whether they're kind of having people move in, but definitely has some homegrown talent like Scoot Henderson. With the Spurs right now, not help me out. Went to UConn, Stephon Castle.
Oh, Castle with the Spurs, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Came out of Newton, yeah.
Out of Newton, Pebblebrook, Colin Sexton. We could see Arrington Page.
Utah's got 3. They got Colin,
Walker Kessler,
and Kessler.
Walker Kessler out of Woodward. Yep.
Shout out to their human resources department. We'll put that together. But in the last 10 games, am I on school? Yes, I'm on school. I believe he's had last 10 games, 11 points last Tuesday against the Miami Heat, 25 against Chicago Bulls. And that's no slouch of a backcourt. Zach LaVine, Kobe Simmons, USC product player right there, 21 against the Houston Rockets, 16 against the Clippers, and we know Kawhi Leonard was on the court, man. So to have 16 around Kawhi Leonard is very impressive, and probably a career high, 39 points against the Brooklyn Nets, 62% from the free throw line. We got to clean that up, but 80% from the 3, 72% from the field goal, man, on 39 minutes of play, 6 assists and 2 steals. From watching Scoot play in his G League days, obviously seeing his incredible highlights, during his time at Cal, just been a guy, who just, works hard at the process, through the ups and downs, coming up, coming down, been a yo-yo in the G League from in Portland. Just never gave up on the work. You always see him in clips on Instagram all the time at the Next Play 360 Center at their place in Marietta. So I just think this is a product when the skill of the man meets the will of the man, and it flourishes. So I'm happy for the Henderson family. I think the sky's the limit as he continues. So that I'm going to extend the floor to you, man. Just what do you think about his progression from high school to now?
Oh man, I mean, I think it's phenomenal. And you got to remember, he's only 20 years old. So he's still young, man. I mean, he's still, this game is going to slow down for him, and eventually, man, I really think you'll see him being one of those players that are going to be one of the more dominant leaders on the court. Not just a player, but just one of the dominant leaders on the court. So to your point, just really happy for the Henderson family. Of course, his sister Crystal over at Georgia State, doing her thing, and it's a great thing, to see him, have this have this going through the transition of getting into the NBA, and again, only 20 years old, man, and he's having a good start to his career, and I think sky's going to be the limit for him.
Definitely. Nice.
Yeah, I think, like you said, it's testament. Just keep working, keep grinding. You're not gonna get that early success. The same thing with Isaiah Collier when I talked about him a few weeks ago with Coach Thompson. Obviously was a kid that, I wouldn't say he was down on himself, but was hard on himself as he went early to the league. Was so used to so much success. You know what I'm saying? Then when he got a little bit of adversity, he was kind of like, yo, am I, really supposed to be here? You know what I'm saying? But Coach Thompson kept giving him that reassurance, that reaffirmment. And that's helping him as we see him hit a career high, the game winner recently here. Same with Scoot. Like, first year didn't go as he expected. You know what I'm saying? He was supposed to be the guy for Portland. Now the game is starting to kind of make more sense for him. He's starting to figure it out, craft himself into kind of that player that he is, man. And that's what Portland needs right now. After they lost Damian Lillard, they've been waiting for a guy to be that guy for them. And he's kind of starting to kind of emerge as that. So I think it's just keep working. You might not get the results initially, but if you keep going, eventually the doors will open for you.
Yeah.
Definitely. What a lot of people may have been forgetting right now, he went number two behind Wemby, correct?
I think so.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, I believe he was behind Wemby. Yeah,
top two behind Wemby. We know what type of talent Wembanyama is, and we can understand how somebody can get lost behind Wembanyama, especially not coming out the gate firing on all cylinders. But Scoot is one of those ones who could potentially be a triple-double machine. So definitely keep an eye out for Scoot Henderson and keep up, and definitely watch his next game, whether it's on TV, because definitely probably down here in Georgia, right? So league pass or highlight it up. But gentlemen, before we get out of here, man, any words or there's something you want to shout out to the people before we get off the airways? And you are talking to about 500 folks right now, a little over, tad over.
I will start by just shouting out. I know we didn't get a chance to talk about them tonight, but we do talk about them, and that's the girls of high school basketball here in Georgia, particularly young lady for Creekside, man, sophomore Ciendia Dennis. This young lady is special. I watched her Friday night, drop 31, grab 10 boards, drop 6 dimes, and just is a legit floor general. And then I also want to shout out, give me 2 seconds here. Because I want to make sure I say her name right. But she's a freshman. Bacon, I think you may have seen her already. The freshman at Sandy Creek.
I've seen the highlights. I haven't seen her in person, but I
I got a chance to see her in person, and just want to make sure, and that's just two. There's so many great girl basketball players, female basketball players here in Georgia at the high school level. But if you love just seeing some of these great, Morgan Reckley, only a freshman, but if you get a chance, go check out Sandy Creek. Go see Morgan Reckley. Like, man, this girl is I heard somebody talk about her, so I wanted to see her, and I was just like, wow. But Ciendia Dennis, you get a chance, go check her out at Creekside. Next time we jump on, I'll have a list of girls that I've seen, that I've got a chance to see, that I think you should definitely go check out. There's another young lady at Athens Academy, drawing a blank on her name right now, but she's another star. I think she's only a freshman as well. So a lot of young talent on the girls' side that I'm excited to see how they progress over the next couple of seasons. So I just wanted to throw that out there, man. Just some great girls' talent out there.
Definitely.
You know me?
Yeah, yes, sir. I mean, if we can say the best flag. I got you. We can say the best flag later. I don't have any too much to say. I know Nas is going to bring us home. He's kind of like the cleanup man, kind of like our hot dog Freddie McGriff. If you're a Braves baseball fan out there, But biggest thing, man, I would just say, man, I would just say, just keep going, man. Don't be that person. I'm gonna say it again, like I'm saying every week. Don't be that Valentine's Day burnout that comes into the new year with all these goals and aspirations that you want to do. Get around Thanksgiving, look good, so. You fall off the side of the man, keep it going, stay down. I'm saying, stay positive, and just get in love, fall in love with your process and correct your process. But with that being said, I'm gonna extend the floor to you, man. I'm saying, here's your helmet, here's your bat.
I'm dead. I got a special one, real quick for everybody out there. Look, man, don't be satisfied. Don't be complacent with success. Just because it's going well doesn't mean it's going to always be going well. You know what I'm saying? So find pride in that. Be content with it, but continue to have that same strive and that grind that you had when you didn't have it. You know what I'm saying? I think that's very important to say tonight. No matter what you build in your platform, people like you, people talking you up, it's all good and everything. Make sure you always give praise and give God the glory, your Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. You know what I'm saying? Because without him, you wouldn't be in that position you are. Now you're working to get there, but remember, he provides you the breath, the life, the energy, you know what I'm saying? All that good stuff for you to be able to do it, man. So just because you're successful, you know what I'm saying? Don't go and start being arrogant, think you're better than people and all that stuff. Remain that humility. Keep that humility with you and always be grateful and give thanks to the man above. You know what I'm saying? And never be complacent with your success because it can get hard at any moment. So I do want to leave y'all with that. And last but not least, I want to shout out everybody for tuning in, man. 703 viewers in here. We haven't even connected Damian Day Lewis on his platforms on Instagram and X and all that. And he got a big platform and everything. This is just between me and Bacon. So shout out to y'all. This is a basketball podcast. You know what I'm saying? It's not even our football one where we know most of y'all like, but 370 for me with my near 4,800 followers and 332 for you, Bacon, with nearly your 3,000. So special shout out to y'all, man. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Y'all know where to tune in every Tuesday and Thursday. Same time, 7:15, 7:30, all the way to about 9:15, man. So we appreciate y'all tuning in. Day, it's good to have you back, man.
Man. Glad to be back, man. Glad to be back.
Yes, sir. Good to have you back in your expertise. And Bacon, I'll let you lead us out.
It is far. It is hard. Hey, throw these clean up, man. We appreciate y'all tuning in. Like I said, 7:15, same bad station, same bad channel. Man, appreciate that's a Batman reference. I'm not saying bad, but thank y'all for tuning in, man. Peace and blessings as always. It's just Sizzler News right here on the Sizzler News podcast. Peace.